So this is an old video that you're going to watch. I started filming in November 2023 and it took me a year to post. So these are all archived clips. Some of my thoughts might have changed, some might stay the same, but I'd like to post them because it's part of the journey and it's important to me, and they matter to me, and it shows the journey and shows different thoughts I was going through compared to now, I guess. But yeah, enjoy the video. Peace. So just on that day where I generally could not be bothered to be in, I didn't want to be in the days before, got myself in the morning, was eventually in, didn't want to do any work, and then something happened and I sussed something out. Oh, thank you everybody. Yeah, and I sussed something out, and I sussed out that basically I had a technique that worked this time, and I'm wondering if it's going to work again. And it's a technique that for me worked in getting me motivated when I absolutely did not. When you're in the depths of not wanting to do anything at all, I've just done it. And when I talk about this, I'm talking about in a sense where in the past I would have given into the voice that says, no, be nice, be comfortable, go home, don't need to work, don't need to come in, shouldn't have come in, you wasted your time. Give into that voice, give into that sort of level where I've been at before. When I've been in a sauna and I give up just before the end, when the idea of an ice bath says absolutely not, we're not doing that. Stuff like that. The things in my head where I've got a block and I won't go past it. That was just one level that I just got past. And now to some people it probably won't seem like a high level or anything like that, but each to their own individual sort of capacity of what word would you say? I'd say each individual sort of breaking point where you do give up. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's such an intense thing. I'm not climbing Mount Everest and can't give up there. I think there's different levels to it and different types. And for me, sometimes the type is when it's not so serious, when there is no pressure. When there's no pressure, sometimes I do find it hard to not give up. Do you know what I mean? When there's no real reward, there's no real reason to do it. It's just one of those things you have to do. I'm like, oh. Whereas if it was climb Mount Everest, I'm like, all right, it's a pretty big achievement. I can try and build myself up to that. I'm not saying I'd do it, but I can, in my head you can think of different things where you're sort of like, yeah, this is what I'd tell myself to do. This is how I'd motivate myself. This is how I'd get myself in action, get myself to complete this such a big goal. And like I said, I find it hard on these smaller ones where it's like, well, you can't get motivated for doing this work on a Friday. It's like, it's not that meaningful. It doesn't really matter if I come in or if I don't come in realistically. So I'll tell you what the thing I did. I'll walk you through the process of what happened. I'm sat there, I'm procrastinating, I'm on my phone, I'm eating, I'm sort of doing everything but the work. And what happened was my girlfriend texted me after I texted her saying I cannot be bothered working. Her response is, why don't you come, I go to hers, and on the way, get a Mackey's. Oh, absolutely. Now that sounds like a great day. Bad food that I'm not supposed to have, and spending my time doing something that I'm not meant to do which is being at my girlfriend's. So it's two things what will give me pleasure, because it's getting me out of the situation I'm in, and it's also giving me pleasure because I'm eating, bad food. And I don't know what happened. It just naturally happened. I just was like, I can't give into this. It's almost like when someone else says it to me, or it's someone else's voice, someone else saying, yeah, come on over. It's like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give up like that. And it's not like she was persuading me to come over, like to stop working. It was just she gave an option. Do you know what I mean? What the fuck, man? Oh, well, that was a disaster. Bloody learner drivers trying to let them go, and then they don't bloody go, and then they went, and then even I stalled. Going on there, man? What's just happened? God, I lost my train of thought now. Completely lost it. I'm gone. What was I saying? Yeah, it's not that she was persuading me to do it. Like, it wasn't like she was tempting me with the bad thing. It was just that one reply of, yeah, why don't you do this? Sort of agreeing with what I've said. And that other voice has sort of made me see it as a competition. And that's what I think for me that I figured out is turn it into a competition, because I do not want to be beat. And if it comes down to someone's gonna win, I'm like, I want to win, and that's what's gonna motivate me. So what I did was, I'm like, well, no, now if I go, she wins. Do you know what I mean? She wins, and not only that, that voice, that inner bitch, is now saying, yeah, listen to me. That's two people to agree with. So it's like them two have teamed up and gone, yeah, do this. And now myself of like, don't give up, is now going, what, you're going to let them beat you? You're going to let them beat you? Are they better than you? Are they going to win? And it's a complete fantasy, don't get me wrong. Like, she wasn't like that at all. And I know that's not what her intentions were, but I've then created this fantasy in my head. I've created this fantasy in my head where that's the situation. And I don't mind it because it's worked. From that point onwards, I then got cracking and got stuck into some work. And it completely, like, fully worked, and it was sweet. And I thought, yeah, make it a competition and just identify who the other competitors are. And what happened in the end was whereas there was this battle for give up and don't give up, what happened was don't give up dragged the voice of give up along the way and says, what you chatting about? This is what we're doing. You're coming with me, whether you like it or not, because we're going to win. And it probably sounds a bit obvious that's, all you got to do is listen to that voice, but as we all know, it's not that obvious just to say shut up. Or for me, it's not that obvious to tell that voice to just shut up. It just keeps coming back. Do you know what I mean? You can't just tell it to shut up, because it's not going to shut up. That's how it goes in my head. Until, I don't know, it did just shut up after me going, well, I'm not going to lose. And I wonder if it was just me identifying with that don't give up voice because the other voice identified with my girlfriend. Like I said, I'm going to repeat again, nothing wrong with my girlfriend, but it identified with another person that was agreeing with give up. So then I'm like, well, I've got to take the side of don't give up, almost. So it worked in a way. And I just wonder if I can do that now, in my own head. Fantasize that way in my own head. Oh, yawny. It was just so interesting to actually just happen naturally. Like, I didn't force it. It just happened that way. And I was very impressed. But yeah, that's sort of what I got done today. That's sort of where my head went. And nice little small revelation. A little small skill was just developed by turning up on a Friday. And that's the thing. I think that's where it's important to just, the matter of the fact of you've got to keep going, because there's two things that can happen. You can learn something when you give up, and you can learn something when you keep going, when you don't give up. And I think both are valuable. And if you've sort of heard my theory and concept about the black dot on the white page, and how you got to think of the opposite reactions as well, and how you can see value in both options and both reactions, you can create real value and stuff like that. And that's what that moment is. It's like, well, if I give up, it then just increases the value the next time I don't give up. It builds, it's a really complicated idea, I think, to go into. But yeah, the reason it's complicated, it's just long. I'd have to explain the theory again on the black dot on the white page, and then some other concepts. And if I'm honest, I spent the rest of today writing that down on some notes, sort of getting it into a bit of a formal format where it can be in a bit of a structure. Whereas in the, up till now, I've had it on my notes, jotted down, not really organised, not really structured in a way. And I think today I did get it structured so I can somehow, I don't know, maybe speak it into the camera or just release it in text form. And the value in that is, again, it's a double-sided, well, it's a coin, and double-sided coin where, if I speak this out loud, people either agree or disagree with me. And if they agree with me and it changes people's lives, or they just agree with me and they're like, oh yeah, I didn't see that, that's an interesting thing to know. It then gives them value, gives me value, because I've done a good thing. And then the other side of the coin is, I then have people disagree with me, and if you can disagree with me and challenge that thought, I absolutely don't mind that, because it's only going to create more thoughts added onto that. I think that's why I'm okay with these videos. I think that's what got me filming these videos. It's like, think of the missed opportunity of criticism and extra thought, because I'll get these thoughts like this one about, this concept that I'm talking about that I've got on my notes. I've got this sort of written down, or I've had this for a while, and I've had multiple ones like this where I thought, I've got it. And then you'll speak to someone about it, and then it goes out the window, and you have to sort of adjust what you was talking about. You have to readjust different flaws in the concept. So when I release it, again, like I said, it's a coin. It's got two sides to it. It's got the value in the criticism, and it's got value in when people agree, which is fantastic. So anyway, I'm at the shop now, so Peace.